Welcome to another Dark Rider mini review. I am the Nightmare Rider, and today I am wrapping up my final thoughts on Tokumei Sentai Go-Busters! There will be mild spoilers in this review, so let me start off by saying that it's a very good series and definitely worth your time if you have a moment to check it out. The biggest highlight of this series, I would say, is the villains. For what they lack in overall depth, they make up for in threat and general competence. Many a time, the monster of the week is a very clever plan to set up behind them and really make the main team think outside the box on how to defeat them. I also like how each of the team members have specific weaknesses to contrast the power that they can and will be exploited by these villains. It keeps them from being too powerful and is more about how it's used from fight to fight rather than powers themselves. Many times the main Sentai team actually comes up against a monster that could very well end up killing them unless they think very quickly on how to defeat it. And that is something I think is missing a lot in a lot of Sentai series. I also like all the Power Rangers references in here, like Megazords and It's Morphing Time, which I don't know if they were done on purpose, but they did something to add a unique style to this series, which I wonder will how be translated when it gets adapted into Power Rangers in years to come. I know that Power Rangers SPD actually got a dub in Japan, so I am wondering if they are growing off that popularity and actually using some similar themes within Go-Busters to make those Power Rangers references really fit. The Megazord fights are particularly worthy of mention, as they are rarely used as simple cut and paste stock footage and one-shot KO like many Sentai do. Hell, even one of my favourite Sentais, being Dairanger, did that quite a lot, where most of the Megazord fights were really pretty bland and just never really did anything besides combine one-shot KO with a big attack. Hell, even most of the time they don't even combine into their Gatai form, having actual fights that they have to think around for the individual Megazord. This is something you really don't see a lot in modern Sentai and Sentai in general, and something I would honestly love to see more of. There also weren't as many clusterfuck Megazords and giant robos in this, but there are still a few, and I think that's becoming a staple of modern Sentai, which I don't entirely mind too much. Just things like Shinkenja and Goonja did tend to go overboard with that. Now, a lot of people call the characters in this show bland and uninteresting, and I can kind of see that. They aren't as goofy or have as distinct personalities as some other shows have been. Hell, even the more subdued Sentai series like Bokenja have seen some great team dynamics on with the history behind the characters. But I don't think this is entirely true, as the previous weaknesses I mentioned, as well as the fact that the team is feels more like a family than many other Sentai series in the past, does make you care about them, and their concerns for each other's general well-being is very effective. The Buddywroids, while lacking in general depth as well, do add more character dynamic to the team, as well as being used for comic relief more often than the team members themselves. But this isn't particularly a bad thing, considering I like how they each have a unique relationship to each of the team members, and it increases the feel that they are more or less like co-workers in a special ops organisation like the general theme is, and more like a family member, as I previously mentioned before. It is also great to know how they combine as both the power-up form and as part of the Robo/Megazords. It's not entirely clear if the team's Robos are classified as Megazords or not, but that's neither here nor there. Honestly, I can't find a lot that's truly bad about this series. Just a lot of little nitpicks and small things that don't have a huge difference in the long run. You could argue that the heroes don't have very much development to them, the villains have little motivation, and general aesthetic style isn't particularly interesting. But overall, this really does not make much of an impact on the high quality of the show overall. While it's not quite up to the same level as some awesome series like Bokenja, Shinkenja, Dairanger, Gokaija and Gekiranger, it's still something I would recommend heartily if you give it a chance to watch. I give Tokumei Sentai Go-Busters an overall score of an A-. It looks like the next series, Juden Sentai Kyoryuja, is going to be a lot more goofy and light-hearted than Go-Busters, so here's hoping it can still manage to keep its own unique charm. This is the Nightmare Rider saying thank you for watching, and keep calm and wake up!